I love what you're saying, because this is something that we do too, is focusing on what's really happening on the business level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
these data strategies, which are technology oriented, are sometimes very hard to work with, because I would like to ask you, because this is a trend that we see, is let's create this self-serve analytics environments,
Yeah.
and the future will be bright and shiny and pink and fluff and plush. I just would like to ask your opinion about creating a data strategy. Let's get all the data into a big data lake, put on it, I don't know, Power BI, and boom, here
And
we are,
let everybody
data-driven.
go crazy.
Yes, exactly.
All I can say is I would close my book and say good luck. Look, I think data democratization, self-service, those words that have been used and pushed around in our industry for a long time, have created havoc. I'm not saying that they're not good things, but they have led to detrimental things happening. And one of those things which it's caused is the idea of data literacy. So in order for us to be able to give people many different, like you said, let's just chuck our data into a data lake, put whatever visualization tool on top, and let everybody have access to it, and let them run wild. From my perspective, there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to set it up in a particular way. Yeah, it's not about the Wild West. We've got to have proper processes in place. We've got to have a fundamental of understanding of not everybody in the organization is going to go and want to play with data, right? This is a common theme that I hear, but we should give it to everybody. But really, does everybody need? Some people just want to have a specific piece of insight, and they need that to drive out a particular decision. Some people will want to absolutely have a little bit more flexibility because their area might be more dynamic. They are looking externally and they're trying to work out what the environment, the external factors are. What's the impact from regulation? What's the impact from the environment? What's the impact from, the economy and so on? So there might be certain things that they might need. Say, for example, that could be the strategy office. They will need to have a little bit of dynamic views of that. Not everybody is going to want to be exploring the data all day, bringing in large data sets and building models. I don't think that's going to happen, right? I think people, essentially, there's what people need for their day-to-day, and that could be a piece of insight. It could be data that's delivered to a decisioning system that helps them in their process. And you said it earlier on. I believe that most people who will create a data strategy don't really understand processes. And therefore, to me, a process delivers the data. It's beautiful because that actually works within that context. I need to know what happens when this piece of data is generated. Does anybody need to know that there's some insight here, there's value? Can we measure it? Can we provide that to that person instantly? Can we help them to make that next decision along that process? So, all of those things are really, really important. That needs to be set up. So I think fundamentally there will always be specific things that business departments, functions, what lines of business, whatever we want to call them, will need, either day-to-day, week-to-week. And they could be delivered through common systems like a visualization tool. Some will be delivered through maybe a model, which will go into a decisioning system. Some may just be, some don't even need to see, a trend or a specific, where are we now in terms of last week. So it really depends. And that's why I think you've got to understand how does the business make money? What is the process by which they do that? And how can we help them to deliver insight when they need it at the right time. So to me, that's more push. Self-service sounds like it's more I'm pulling a bit of data and I'm trying something and I'm going to see if it works, and then I bring my bias into it and I bring my my confirmation bias and so on. So I think we should be absolutely delivering some perspective of insight that is standard, that is what's required, and all the time. And then there is going to be innovation. There is going to be ad hoc stuff. There is going to be, things that will come up. And there's a place for that. And I think that will need deeper thinking. It will need more resources. It might need different capabilities. But it will always need to be working around that business process or that business and that business function, that line of business. It's not someone sitting in a bunker somewhere working on a model in the dark, and they love it because it's great. But actually, the business person has no idea what they're doing because it actually doesn't add value to them. So I think I'm not saying democratization isn't great, but it's really fundamentally messed up a lot of the organizations that have tried to do that over time. Even self-serve, you've got to train people. You've got to get them to understand. And is it the job of every business individual to now suddenly be a data analyst? No.
Listen to Between Data and Risk podcast